you're going to be in front in the men's eights, and they've shown it. So let's see if they can do it again.
Well, all the crews are away. No one's got away quicker than anybody. The 8 takes a bit longer to get up to speed. You get away for about the first 10 strokes, try and get the boat up to maximum speed, and then it's a drag race. You hold that speed as long as you can, as hard as you can, as fast as you can. Now we look at the Olympic champions from 2012, the crew from Germany, and you can pretty much draw a line across the start here.
You can, and the New Zealanders, I think, showing early. The Americans up there too, but as I say, you can't really call anyone. The Americans, you can see, it's just the speed bar at the bottom of the screen on the right, switching between the Americans and New Zealanders and the Dutch. And the Dutch, with their distinctive yellow bibs in the World Cup, they came down to Varese, so they've raced in the first World Cup, and the Dutch are out in the lead.
Interesting that the Dutch have just settled into a pace which has just given them that one man or two men. As we hear the cock sits in the back of the boat, and they tend to say, I'm sitting on their stroke man, give me their 7 man, move me out against the opposition. And the Dutch crew will be telling his crew that he's on the stroke man of the British crew beside him.
I love the way the Dutch, they raced last weekend on the Bosbaan, hard training weekend. They did the regatta against Neerhouse University. Neerhouse did 5:33, nearly gave them the shock of their lives, but the Dutch just love racing, and they're in the lead at the moment, Greg.
But there's still nothing in it, is it? Is there at all? We got virtually all 5 crews, certainly the top 5 crews, within half a length of each other. The crew at the top, the Russian crew, just slightly out of it, but I wouldn't count anyone in or out at this time.
I tell you, I think I was wrong about the Americans. I mean, the other crews have moved up a notch since the race. It must be so tough when you've got your psychology for that Olympic qualification regatta to race hard for the 3rd or 4th time in just 1 week. So there we're looking at the German crew in the centre. I think I saw a shot of Eric Johansson there, but the Dutch still lead, and I think they're edging out. We haven't talked about the British at all in this race, Greg, but they're in bronze medal position as we ride with the Germans.
Yeah, no, this is a tight one. We see the German blade work. They move so well together. They know how to row an 8. They attack it. They get onto it pretty quickly. But the Dutch don't know how to win races, and they're up in the front of this one. When was the last time we've seen a Dutch crew leading, coming out through 1,000 in the men's 8? The cogs there, Peter Veersen, we were talking to him yesterday. He said how they're seeking consistency. Well, he'll be there now saying, I'm now sitting on the 6th man of the British crew. I'm sitting on the 6th man of the German crew. Keep me out of here. Keep moving away from the rest of the field.
He gives it Sumbers, Peter Veersen, in the cox's seat, as do all these coxswains, and Caleb Shepherd, the Kiwi cox, will be doing just the same. But the Dutch led at 500. They've led through 1,000. Now the race really starts. Really difficult to call this one. I don't think the Germans will do it from that position. I'm not sure they've got the sprint in the finish.
5th place Germany at 1,000 metres in an 8th race. We would not have expected to say that.
You know, and we were talking to Noel Donaldson, the coach of the Kiwi 8 this morning, and he said the boys aren't going that well. But, you know, look at the speed they're showing in silver medal position. The Americans...
And I'll tell you what, Martin, I see your Americans here in lane 6. The Americans coming back into it. So they didn't just have a fast 12.50, which is what they showed in the heat.
What is that? What
now they're coming back through here. This is fantastic.
You could do the fastest 1,000 in the heat and then do the fastest second 1,000 possibly in the final.
Well, there's a long way to go before they've done the fastest second 1,000. We have a look here. Matt Langridge there in the 3C of the British 8, but they're more than half a length behind the Dutch crew. And the Dutch crew still have that little bit of pace, a little bit of rhythm. They take the blades out of the water, the boat just runs a little bit.
It does. Mark Emper coached them, fantastic coach, of course, very experienced, won a medal in the 4s back in 1990 for Holland, but the American 8 are edging closer. The Germans too, not out of it. I did write them off. New Zealand falling back. Great Britain not out of it. At the top of your screen for a medal. They could come with a late charge. Everything to play for.
I think the German 8 have started edging back at the Netherlands crew as well. What a fantastic last 500 we're in for.
Have the Americans got the legs? That's the question. And we haven't seen anyone win from lane 6 today. Saw the Lithuanians get a silver medal. I didn't think if the Americans won they would do it this way, but the Germans coming back into it. This would be an amazing thing if the Germans won, but Britain are there too in lane 2 at the top of your picture. They're out of shot at the moment. We're seeing Holland, then Germany in the green boat, then the USA in bronze medal position at the moment. Who's going to be there at the end of the race?
The Netherlands. Time for the Netherlands to stand up and keep going. It's now only 300 metres to go. They're going to be looking out for those red boys. The Netherlands are going to hold on, Martin. They're going to win the men's 8.
That is going to be fantastic. They led at 500. They led at 1,000. They led at 1,500. They're into the red boys. I think that's a race-winning margin. Will Britain get through America for the bronze? That's the race behind. I don't think the Germans will do it. Look at the cool Rob Lucerne in the stroke seat. He's just got an impassive face. I know he's hurting.
Incredible from the Dutch 8. Look at this. No one's going to catch them. It's the Germans who are coming through for the silver. Pressed hard by the Americans. The British, I don't think, are going to do it. The Netherlands starting to look for the finish line, but they don't have to look much further. They're in front of us now. Coming down in front of the grandstand. We're coming in. The Netherlands do know how to win an 8th race, and they've done it right there. Netherlands in first, Germany second, America third, and Britain pushed back into fourth.
Well, that's a massive disappointment for the British 8. I know they've got a sub on board, New Zealand in 5th and the Russian 8 in 5th, but the Dutch just shows you, if you love your rowing, you love your racing. They raced on the Bosband last weekend. They raced the Student 8. You would never, ever get a British 8 doing anything like that. They love rowing. They just love being in there, and that attitude has taken them on. They were really brave in the Europeans. Lane 1, the most disadvantaged lane, they led at 1,000 metres. They took it on there, didn't they? They took it on there. And, you know, it is absolutely amazing. And the Dutch, you know, they are going to swim out, aren't they? I mean,
anyone in orange,
soaking wet. And
if you're in orange, get stripped down, get ready to jump in the Rotsee and start swimming out to your crew. That's what they do. That's what we expect to see. And
loads
what
of them
surprise.
Loads of them come here to watch the race, don't they?
They'll be singing. We'll get some singing there today. We always like a bit of Dutch singing.
And I think that is just an amazing race. I don't think we'll see the same thing in the Olympics in a few months' time. But, you know, you've got to love it. And I tell you, Greg, quickest percentage time relative to world's best.
Really?
97.5% of world's best.
97.5% of the world best time. The quickest boat of the day is the Dutch men's 8. Dutch men's 8. Who would have predicted that? And the conditions really haven't changed much, Mark. I think there's a little bit of if anything, there's the gentlest of tailwind, a hint of a tailwind.
It's lovely to see Rob Lucerne and those guys from the 4, of course, back in Chengdu when the Netherlands had that fantastic sprint for the line. For these men to take the gold medal way back in 2013 seems a long way away now, and well, I guess they must have wondered, would medals ever come again? They had a fantastic World Championships last year, won a bronze medal in this event, but now they've gone much better than that to take gold. The Germans weren't quick off. That's not good enough for the German 8. Rolf Holtmeier will want to do something about that. He's possibly got better men in that he could have. Anton Braun faster in the pairs trials, but